So, my dad was in the army, and he used to tell me this little joke. Say, there's three things you never want to hear in the army, right? You never want to hear a second lieutenant say, based on my experience. You never want to hear a captain say, I think we should just go for it. And you never want to hear a warrant officer say, watch this shit. And that's because second lieutenants are brand new officers and they don't know shit. I guess the idea was that captains are just kind of shitheads and you didn't want them doing reckless stuff. But warrant officers, which my dad was one, were helicopter pilots. And you never, ever, ever, ever want to hear your helicopter pilot go, watch this shit. Now, when I was a young man and I was in the Navy, I just joined, and I was in my training command, I met the most gorgeous girl. Fell madly in love with her. We really thought we were just crazy in love. Love at first sight. The only way that we were going to guarantee, now that we had found each other, that we would never be separated, was to get married. So I married her about 2 months after I met her. A few things happened. She ended up getting herself kicked out of the Navy. She came with me up to Washington State, where I was stationed. I was assigned to the USS Abraham Lincoln. I did my workups, and I went on cruise. That's 6 months out to sea. And she was writing me regularly for the first couple of months, an average of a letter a day. She put perfume on the letters so that I could smell them, put them under my pillow while I was sleeping. Seriously, I was madly in love. But after a couple of months, the letters kind of started petering out, and then they stopped altogether. I'd pull into port. I'd try to call her. No answer. She was nowhere to be found. She disappeared. She completely disappeared. I finally got a hold of her parents, and I got the number where she was. And I called her. She answered the phone. She seemed bothered that I had found her. And all she said was, I want a divorce. Click. Hung up the phone. That was the last time I ever talked to her. And I'm sitting there in Jabal Ali. It's near Dubai in the Middle East. Shit-faced drunk. Bawling my eyes out. I used the last couple of minutes on my phone card to call my dad. And I say, hey, Dad, I'm fucking freaked out, man. Jen's leaving me. I don't know what to do. What do I do? I'm scared. My dad just says, watch this shit. Hangs up the phone. So I stumble out of the phone booth there and I have a few more drinks. We make our way back to the boat. I go back out to sea for a couple of weeks, and when I come back, I call home and I find out what this man had done. Turns out, when he got off the phone with me, he got in his truck, drove to Atlanta, got on an airplane, flew to LA, called up an old army buddy of his that was now an LA County sheriff. And they tracked my wife down at that phone number at a really seedy, gross motel that was known for drug activity and all sorts of other kind of nasty, illegal shit. You know, she's all strung out. And my dad's buddy tells her, says, hey, so we can come into your room and we can see what you got going on in there. Or you can give Kane's dad Kane's shit. So, of course, she hands my dad the car keys, the checkbook, the credit cards, the house keys, everything. Everything. And he leaves her at this shitty little tweaker motel, drives all the way back to Whidbey Island, Washington. Took him about 27 hours. Goes on the base, pulls out his ID card, pulls rank on a couple of people, gets into my apartment there on base, finds rotten food everywhere. It's disgusting. Cleans the apartment. Has them change the locks, which you're not really supposed to do. Then put my car in storage on base. Got on an airplane, flew back to Atlanta, and drove the 4 hours back to Alabama. Did all of this with no sleep, just because his son needed him. And this man wasn't just like this for me. Anybody who needed him, he would go out of his way for. If you needed help, he was there for you. He was a good man. He's a great man. Best man I'll ever know. And as a gift one year, I painted him this painting. Little inside joke between the two of us. And he kept it in his shed until I got it back. See, when he was about a year older than I am now, my dad had been battling cancer for about 2 years. It was long, and it was painful. It was horrible. It was dehumanizing. He suffered. And next year I will have outlived him. I got the call from my mom saying that the treatments were done. There was nothing else they could do. I needed to come home because he was getting ready to die. So I spent about the next 2 weeks driving him around so he could say goodbye to his friends, so he could button up every little thing he could button up. They'd re-sided the house. They'd put a brand new roof on it. He fixed the fence. The last thing we did after he'd gotten everything else in order was we went to the Jeep dealership because they had lifetime warranties on the powertrain. And he bought her a brand new Jeep Compass with a lifetime powertrain warranty because he figured she'd be taken care of. She'd never have to worry about that, at least. And he had this little wheelie chair in the garage. The last thing he did was wheel up after he had adjusted her seat and her mirrors, changed out the license plate, put her personalized plate on the front of the car. And then he went in, laid down, and never got back up. He waited until 2 days after her birthday to die. So this man who chose to be my father, because you see, we weren't blood, that had done so much for me, so much for my mother, so much for so many people, someone whose very existence made the world a better place. Good, not just a good man, but a great man, a God-fearing man, got to suffer and die the most horrible of deaths, 1 year older than I am now. And Donald fucking Trump got to be president. See, I got a lot of reasons to not believe in God. I've got logical reasons. I've got scientific reasons. I got a lot of reasons. But that right there is probably my best one. So look, if you still got your dad, hug him tight, ask him all the questions, because I got a lot of questions still, and I'll never get to ask them.